I'm Theo.
And I'm Juliet.
And this is Apologies Accepted.
We offer an entertaining look at some of the big issues in history by examining public apologies of the famous and infamous.
We're looking at politicians, serial killers, actors, and you.
Send us a public apology you would like to make, and we'll read it on the air and give you a chance to redeem yourself, or just get some guilt off your shoulders.
We're here for you. Once a week, maybe more if you're really, really sorry. Hi, everybody.
This is Apologies Accepted,
the podcast.
Yay. And I am not Theo.
And just so you can stop confusing our voices, I am not Juliet.
Finally, we've gotten that set straight. I have done nothing this week. I have gotten no bacon. I have not done a single flippin' thing, and I don't care what anyone thinks about it. So that's my bacon 0. No bacon, anti-bacon, fat-free bacon. What about you? What's your bacon, Theo?
We bought a house, so yippee!
It's the cutest house I've ever seen. It's beautiful. It's really nice.
It has a chicken coop, and there are no chickens in it yet, but there will be.
Are you really going to get chickens?
I'm going to get all the chickens.
Oh my God. You're going to get the cutest chickens.
At least, well, so I've heard that chickens attract hawks. And so I'm not going to start off with a lot of chickens, right? Because I don't know how traumatic it is if you lose a chicken. It's probably up there, yeah. But I did research. Golden doodles have a low prey drive, so odds are very strong that Henry will not murder the chickens. But we're going to be careful.
You never know.
So we'll start off slow with like 40 chickens, right? Actually, the goofiness in all this is that my great-grandfather was a chicken farmer. And and so I figure it's got to run in the blood.
Totally.
Let's see what happens.
You've always been a chicken farmer at heart.
I probably have the most amazing talent for chickens anybody ever has. I bet you I get them lay all the eggs all the time. But
amazing.
Yeah, so it's a smaller house than what we have now, and it's super cute. We've got to get rid of stuff, and James, of course, believes that everything in the house belongs to me, that I'm the person that dragged it in, right? I brought that trunk in, I brought that basket in, I brought those pillows.
Yeah.
And, okay, sure, fair enough on some things. But so I was saying, okay, well, we can get rid of these 2 chairs, because we have these 2 chairs, and they're real ugly, right? No, we have to save those 2 chairs and they've got to recover them. Okay, well, we can get rid of that dining room table. No, we have to, everything I point to, right?
Yeah.
The one thing that he has pointed to in this entire home that we can absolutely get rid of is my Japanese ladder and my Japanese stool, right? That I bought on a massive sale from the outlet.
That are in your bathroom.
Well, so I put them in the bathroom because I believe that's where a Japanese stool and a Japanese ladder belong, in the shower, right? And it did kind of look, it's a big shower. I just have to say, like, it's a shower room in a way. But it's also not that big. It's not really a shower. It's like a shower closet. But somebody did walk into the guest bathroom and see the ladder and stool against the corner. And it did kind of look like I might have been trying to hide it, and could see where it does start to look a little hoardery. And so anyway, I was told I have to get rid of them. And I was like, no, these are perfect. And he was like, they're useless. It is a ladder and a stool.
Yeah.
What is more useful? Nothing.
They're very cute too. They look nice in that
visually
corner.
Appealing. Use number 1.
Yeah.
Use number 2, you can sit down. Use number 3, you could use the ladder to fend off a burglar.
You can use the ladder. Yeah, that too.
You can do all kinds of things.
That's very useful.
So the move is going to be not fun. All right, cool. But it'll happen. And in terms of bacon, I'll say, like, that's it. If it hasn't been work or sign this document for the house, sign that document for the house. Right. Oh, we need your birth certificate. Oh, we need your report card from the 3rd grade. Oh, it needs to be in blue ink. Can you dig up that teacher and have her re-sign it? Sure. I'll do all the things.
Yeah.
It's a lot of that. Yeah, and that's it for my bacon. We'll just keep it real late.
All right, cool. So thank you for the bacon. And our story this week is about Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion. So what happened? In July 2020, rapper Tory Lanez, whose real name is Daystar Peterson, I think Daystar is an interesting name.
I love that
name. And I
name.
think it's even more interesting because his father's name is Sunstar.
I did not know that, and
I uncovered that in my research.
I'm loving that.
It's very cool. Anyway, Tory Lanez shot Megan Thee Stallion in 2020. There are a few versions of what happened, and everyone does seem to agree that Tory Lanez, Megan, a bodyguard, and a friend of Megan's named Kelsey Harris were in Tory Lanez's SUV outside a pool party at Kylie Jenner's house. Along with a bodyguard and a friend of Megan's. I said that already. So the New York Times reported that Lanez shot Megan after she criticized Lanez's rapping skills. And I just have to say here, I recognize that I am using the last name for Tory Lanez and the first name for Megan, and it's not because I'm sexist and think that women are less to be respected than men, but because if I were to call Megan, if I were to call her by her last name, I'd have to call her either The Stallion, which is weird, or her real name, which is Pete, which nobody would recognize. So I'm just going to use Megan for Megan. I guess I could use Tori for Tori.
When I heard her last name, Pete, I consumed a lot of podcasts for this episode, right?
Oh, okay.
And I heard Pete, and I was like, oh my God, lazy writing. Feet? Are you kidding? She got shot in the foot? I was so excited. And then all my hopes came crashing down.
Pete. Yeah, so the story from the New York Times is that he shot her after she criticized his rapping skills, but she reported at one point that she and Lanez were arguing because she had wanted to leave Jenner's house and the party, but the others did not. But during the trial, she reported that she and Lanez had an intimate relationship that her friend Kelsey, who had a crush on him, didn't know about. And Lanez was reportedly hinting at the relationship to the friend and was trying to pit the two women against each other, calling them bitches and hoes. So Megan got out of the car, sort of to end the argument and to get out of the car, and Lanez shot her in the foot through the back window of the car. According to TMZ, the LAPD detective Ryan Stogner testified in court that Lanez shouted, "Dance, bitch," as he fired several times at Megan's feet. Megan told the detective and later told GQ that Lanez, who was drunk, then tried to bribe her and her friend with $1 million each to keep quiet because he was on probation. So in court, I think it turned out that he wasn't on probation, which is weird because why would he say that if he wasn't on probation? Why would he try to bribe them? Maybe he thought he was on probation and he wasn't. I mean, who knows? But I thought that was a weird note. And another kind of weird thing is that when the shooting happened, Megan told the police that she had cut her foot on glass because the shooting happened shortly after the death of George Floyd, and she was afraid of what the police would do if they knew there was a gun in the car. So that's kind of sad. They took her to the emergency room, and she ended up having surgery to remove bullet fragments from both feet, and she still has nerve damage. Lanez did not comment to the press on the incident, but he did respond to everything on his 2020 album Daystar, which was released obviously after the incident happened, in which he said Megan's people were trying to frame me for a shooting, and he denies involvement in the shooting twice. So I think that, did I say that they were trying to, some people were trying to pin the shooting on his friend? Yeah, when the shooting went to court, Lanez pleaded not guilty. His lawyers implied that Megan's friend may have done the shooting and provided evidence that Lanez's DNA was not on the gun. So Megan's friend testified that not only did she not do the shooting, but she didn't even see who did the shooting, which is questionable in my opinion. And Megan's lawyers presented a text message that her friend Miss Harris sent to the bodyguard the night of the shooting saying, "Help," and Tory shot Meg. Around this time, somebody appears to have sent fabricated text messages, which I'm not really clear on, between Lanez and Megan.
Okay, no, I didn't hear the fabricated part.
Yeah, so they fabricated these text messages between Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion and sent them to various press sources, pretending to be a representative of Megan's record label, 300 Entertainment, to sort of campaign on Lanez's behalf. The emails linked to an article claiming that Megan Thee Stallion did not want to testify against Lanez, and Lanez's representative denied that anyone on Lanez's team sent the messages. So that's kind of a weird little side note. Obviously, nobody from Megan's record label sent these messages. Somebody, I don't know if they hacked somebody or if they just, I think they came from something like, 300 entertainment@gmail.com or something. So it's not really hacking if you just make up an email address on Gmail. But anyway, so that kind of went on. It kind of looks suspicious against Lanes, but of course they denied that they sent those messages. Lanes was convicted and found guilty in December of last year of all 3 felony firearm charges that were against him, including assault with a semi-automatic handgun, carrying a loaded, unregistered firearm in a vehicle, and discharging a firearm with gross negligence. This month, I think just a few days ago, he was sentenced to 10 years in state prison. On August 11th, 2023, he refused to apologize for something that I did not do. He said, regardless of how they try to spin my words, I have always maintained my innocence, and I always will. So I guess from his point of view, a mystery person shot Megan. But Megan testified that the shooting and its aftermath impacted her physical and mental health. I can't even be happy, she said. I can't hold conversations with people for a long time. I don't feel like I want to be on this earth. I wish he would have just shot and killed me if I knew I would have to go through this torture. So I gotta wonder if this is affecting her career. I mean, I don't know if dancing is a big part of her shows, but I would think that if she has nerve damage to her feet, this would definitely have impacted her career, and maybe she'll bring a civil trial against him, civil charges against Tory Lanez. I don't know, it's just speculation on my part, obviously.
Yeah, I have no idea. I know that she can walk, so that's great.
Yeah, she can walk, yeah.
And she's received a lot of criticism online, and probably to her face in some places.
Yeah.
Because it's a whole, oh, you're lying, you're doing this for clout, you're doing this to get back at him, you're romantically at odds with each other. That's not an expression, I just made that up. It sounds really good. Romantically at odds, what? And so she's trying to get revenge on him somehow, some way, right? She's just a liar. And that's part of the reason this has been so overwhelming for her. It's the disbelief that her story is true. There are people that are like, you didn't get shot. She's had to post, well, she didn't have to. She has posted x-rays on, I think they were x-rays, whatever. She's posted photos of her feet online, showing the bullets and the wounds, etc. Like, clearly shot. Yeah, but even then people are like, you're a liar and you're just doing this to get him. You're bringing down another black man.
She's so much more famous than him, though. She doesn't need to do it for attention. So I don't think anybody really even heard of him, really, before this happened. I mean, I know this made him much more famous than he was before it happened. So,
I mean...
of course, he's going to prison now, so he doesn't really enjoy that.
I could easily say I have never heard of any of these people prior to the news of the shooting, but I do remember the first time I heard the name Megan Thee Stallion, and it was in relation to this story, like, oh, she's been shot, right? But then all of a sudden, her name was everywhere in terms of music, not in terms of like the story, right? And so it seems like the story broke her into the mainstream, and the mainstream is Theo's Twitter feed. That's the mainstream, everybody.
I see. So, yeah, I didn't hear about the shooting until I was looking up apologies online this week. So I guess I didn't really know that. I guess I did know that she had been shot, but it was sort of secondary to knowing that she was famous, and her songs, and her song with Cardi B that was so popular earlier this year. I
didn't know that she did Savage, the TikTok dance Savage, until this morning.
I still don't know what that is.
Oh, I'm a savage.
No.
Oh, I'll find a TikTok and send it to you, because it was everywhere. It's just it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think the minute you see it, you're going to be like, oh, yes, I do remember this.
Oh, that. Okay.
Anyway, one of her songs became a clip of one of her songs became a viral TikTok dance.
I see.
Sensation.
Well, so hopefully her feet are in good shape and she can dance now still. So I don't know the answer to that. And that's really all I have on the story. Do you have more information, or should we go to the apology?
No, let's go for a deep dive into what happened that day. Because when I first started listening to different podcasts, I was like, oh, great. This is awesome, because it's all the only place I found information about the trial, about this event was in podcasts hosted by Black creators, right? There were not a lot of white. I don't think I saw any white creators, right? Which did then kind of like I recognized, there's not a lot about this in the mainstream media, which I get, is predominantly white. But it's like, wow, this involves really famous people and Kylie Jenner and a pool party and what's up. And so I started listening to different podcasts, and I quickly realized that I should keep my big mouth shut about any of the cultural aspects of this event. Because there's so much, is dissension the word that I want to use?
Dissent?
Disagreements? We'll use disagree. I'm trying to use a big word because I spent a lot of money to go to university quite recently when it was useless. And so here we go. One podcast focused on misogynor or noir. Some misogyny against women of color, and that black women are expected to be the perfect victims, and that if a black woman shows any sort of imperfection in terms of character, then the whole case just crumbles around her, and she ends up becoming the villain, which does happen with Megan Thee Stallion. There are people out there that say that she's fabricating getting shot, the whole thing, and that it's to get back at Tory Lanez for liking Kylie Jenner, flirting with Kylie Jenner, but then also having had a previous relationship with her best friend / assistant, Kelsey Harris, who's changed her name to Nicole. So, but I'm going to go with Kelsey Harris because that's how she appears in court. And so, let's just start. Here's what happened. So Kelsey and Megan meet in college, and they hit it off right away, and they become super great friends, super tight. And then Megan starts to become famous, or at least she starts getting money, and her songs start catching attention. And Megan says, hey, Kelsey, you need to quit your job and come be my assistant because you are super organized. You are always on time. You are so smart. And I need somebody I can trust. And I trust you. And Kelsey says, great. And so she becomes the gatekeeper for Megan Thee Stallion, right? Nothing happens in Megan's life without Kelsey being there to direct it, or to understand how this is going to impact Megan's day-to-day, her schedule, her career, all the things, right? And so that bit was cool. And so Kelsey gives up her apartment and moves in with Megan. That's how involved she is in her job, right? Not so much how involved she is in Megan's life.
Right.
So on July 12th, 2020, a Megan Thee Stallion fan account reshared an Instagram live video showing Megan Thee Stallion partying with fellow rapper Tory Lanez at Kylie Jenner's house in the Hollywood Hills. Both appeared to be in Jenner's pool. We had to come kill the streets for 5 minutes, Megan, then 25, said while next to Jenner, then 22. I have no idea what that means.
I don't know what that means either.
We had to come kill the streets for 5 minutes. Okay.
I don't know.
Seconds later, Lanez joins them from another part of the pool, approaching the camera and posing for the fans. That same morning at 4:30 a.m., okay, it's not the same morning, it's the following morning. So they go to the pool and they're hanging out with Kylie Jenner, and they're there until post 4 a.m. At 4:30 a.m., the Los Angeles Department, the LAPD, receives reports of gunshots coming from outside a Hollywood Hills residence. And I will just say that the Hollywood Hills is not the place you hear gunshots, and it is the place that's crawling with cop cars. They are off-duty police officers are hired as security guards. They will sit and park their car on a street because the neighbors have collectively gotten together and just been like, hey, if you'll sit down there every night and just they're not afraid of burglars. It's tourists. Tourists drive through the Hollywood Hills looking for where all the celebrities live, right? Because they do live in the Hollywood Hills. So
Sure.
that's why the police were there so quick. That's why the police were so fast to respond. And that's also why it got reported. Because there are other parts of LA, if you hear a gunshot, it doesn't fucking matter. You got other stuff going on to be worried about somebody else maybe getting shot. So the LAPD pulls over a Cadillac Escalade, and they order 4 people dressed in bathing suits to get out of the car, 2 men and 2 women. The police footage shows the first woman walking out of the car, leaving a trail of bloody footprints. She is ordered to the ground. She stumbles to a sitting position, her legs curled protectively underneath her. A police helicopter circles overhead, its searchlight bearing down on the woman, blinding her. The woman seated on the ground had 2 songs on the Billboard Hot 100. A new single had debuted at number 28, and a collaboration with Beyonce was at number 4. I can't believe that anything Beyonce does would ever be as low as number 4. But, okay. One of the men lying face down on the road, hands spread wide apart overhead, was also a rapper. He had 5 albums in the top 5 of the Billboard album chart. A spokesperson for the LAPD confirmed to the Billboard that Lance was arrested on a felony count of carrying a concealed weapon in a vehicle. The Canadian musician posted $35,000 bail and was released. TMZ originally reported that the broken glass was on the floor of the vehicle, and that's what injured Megan's foot during the incident. Megan lied about her injury, which only helped fuel later confusion over what happened. Megan explained much later how the incident occurred so basically Megan saying, this all happened in the middle of Black Lives Matter protests in the summer of 2020. This happens after George Floyd's murder by the hands of police. And she was trying to keep everybody in her group safe, including the person who shot her, right? They'd all been drinking. Everybody was drunk. Nobody says anything differently, right? And she was just worried in the moment, being surrounded by police with a helicopter circling overhead with the light shining down on you is scary. They haven't been looking for me, but I've been under a police helicopter light on the road when a helicopter's going overhead looking for somebody. Yeah. It is not comfortable because they can shoot you when they can see you.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Wow.
That's not good. So that's why she lied. Basically, that was her first instinct. And is it a surprise that a black person would not tell the truth to the? No, that's not a surprise. It's not a surprise that she lied to the cops. I don't even like saying lied. Let's just say it's not a surprise she didn't tell the cops what happened and that she didn't tell the doctors what happened, right? She gets to the hospital and she's telling the doctors, I stepped on broken glass and it's also confusing and blah. And they're like, oh, there's fragments of bullets in your foot. So you didn't step on glass. I mean, we just know that. Right?
Yeah.
But, okay. She stuck with her story for a little while. And then she posted a photo of her gunshot wound to Instagram. And on August 19th, so of course this all happened, let's go back on July 12th. So about a month later, Megan responds to skepticism that she had been shot by posting a photo of her injury. And she said, I got hit at the back of my feet because when I got shot, I was walking away facing the back. Why would I lie about getting shot? Why are you all so upset that I don't want to be in the bed sad? Why are you all so upset that I can walk? And this is the thing, right? This is kind of what's fueled the whole, she must be lying and she must be making it up. And it's that she wasn't truthful about the incident when it occurred. And she did get through, I don't want to say quickly, but she was able to walk and she was out doing things. And people were like, if you were shot, why aren't you at home crying?
Right.
So then the following day, Megan accused Lanes of shooting her during an Instagram live feed. So on August 19th, she posts a photo of her foot. She doesn't say anything about who shot her. And then on the 20th, she names him. She says, Tori shot me. She also addressed reports from TMZ and other outlets about her injuries. And open quote, I didn't get cut by no glass, but let me tell you why they're saying that. When the police came, because the neighbors called the police come, I'm scared. All the shit going on with the police. I didn't want to die. She was worried about the police would shoot her since someone had a gun in the car. During the same Instagram live feed, Megan said that she had a verbal disagreement with Lance, his bodyguard, and her friend Kelsey Harris, as the four of them left Jenner's home in Lance's car. So everybody does agree that like there was a lot of drinking. They left Kylie Jenner's house. There was a disagreement in the car. Two of the people, being Megan Thee Stallion and Kelsey Harris, had sexual relationships with Tori, right? And things just start to get confused. They don't really get confused. It's just a lot of people saying a lot of things. Megan also denied claims that she had been upset about Lane's showing interest in Jenner. In September of 2020, Tori releases an album, and that album's met with criticism. The rapper tweeted on September 24th of 2020, "To my fans, I'm sorry for my silence, but respectfully, I got time today, 9 p.m. So I guess that's when he was going to
release the album.
Yeah, and so he releases Daystar the following day, and there are some diss tracks about Megan saying that she lied about being shot. How the fuck you get shot in your foot? Don't hit no bones or tendons. People on social media criticized Tori for exploiting Megan's trauma for album sales. However, his fans defended the song by saying he's innocent until proven guilty, which is not what you want people saying about you ever, right? Let's see. And so Kelsey, who's the best friend slash assistant slash not girlfriend, but romantic partner of Tori, when Megan and Kelsey, again, the dynamic duo, they're always together, they meet Tori together, and it's Kelsey who has the first relationship with him.
I see.
Right? All right, cool. So Kelsey originally gave interviews to the police, but in court claimed that she'd just given birth to a baby and was a little confused about things. Her memory got jogged, maybe postpartum depression. She's not sure. But also, it was a while ago, and she's starting to forget a lot of things. So during the taped interviews, the story is that Megan and Tori were fighting. Megan insulted Tori's artistry, and he shot Megan in the foot and was arrested. Tori calls Kelsey from jail. And again, she is the gatekeeper for Megan. She is Megan's go-to. Of course, she's the person that you call. Megan's in the hospital. You're going to call Kelsey and, hey, I'm in jail. I just got arrested. Let's touch base. What's up? So he calls her, and in the telephone call, which is recorded because he made it from jail, he says he regrets what happened.
Right. But he doesn't say what happened.
No, just he regrets. He was very drunk, And I did hear the call. Of course, I don't remember a single word other than his tone was definitely that tone of, wow, I was so drunk. I'm real sorry I set fire to your house. I don't remember doing it. I'm glad that you got to save your grandma's china. Okay. So the next day he calls Kelsey again, and now he's out of jail. He's posted bond and says he wants to meet her. And she says, sure, but only if it's in public. So they meet in the parking lot of a hotel. And she says that, and again, this is in a recorded interview with the police. She says he offered her money and a job and help with attorneys and attorney bills. And she declines everything. She's like, I don't need money from you. I don't need a job from you. Get away. Leave me alone. I'm kind of afraid of you now. Her attorney advises her to stay off of social media. Don't say anything about it, Kelsey. Keep your mouth shut on Facebook and Instagram or Twitter, or whatever the kids are doing these days. Don't TikTok dance about it. Just shut up, right? And so that's what she does. Kelsey gets a call from Megan saying, hey, I'm going to be out of commission for about a year while my foot heals. And so why don't you get an apartment and I'll pay for your apartment for a year. And we just have to wait for my foot to heal. And then heal, get it? Because it's her foot. It's fine. But Kelsey feels that something's weird and she feels like she's getting iced out of the inner circle, right? So Megan later questions why Kelsey would meet with Tori in person and suspects that money did change hands. She and Kelsey are no longer friends. Megan wrote some diss tracks about Kelsey, and Kelsey's taken to the media to criticize her former friend. So we get to the trial, and this is in December of 2021. LAPD detective Ryan Stogner testifies that Megan told him that Tori had yelled, "Dance, bitch," before firing a weapon on the night in question. Megan stated the defendant apologized for doing it and offered her money and begged her to please not say anything, and made a reference to the fact that he was already on probation and he begged her not to say anything, the detective testified in court. How about you tell me what I was apologizing for, bro? Tori shouted at Stogner during the trial. That don't make no sense. You need better attorneys. You shouldn't be saying anything in court, especially something like that. So in this same trial, Kelsey tried to plead the fifth, claiming her memory was clouded and that she feared she might face legal issues for stuff that she says, right? She refused to answer any questions about Tori's actions the night of the shooting, despite reportedly being granted immunity by the prosecution. Harris also denied seeing Tori shoot Megan. So she's been granted immunity. She's sitting on the stand. The judge is asking her some very pointed questions after she refuses to answer questions from the district attorney. And Kelsey says, "Do I have to answer that? I don't remember. I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't say." The district attorney reminds Kelsey, "Hey, remember when you met with the cops and we have these recordings of you saying all the things that happened? We're just asking you about the stuff that you already said happened. So would it help if I played the recordings and it would refresh your memory?" And Kelsey's like, "I'm not sure. I don't know. I can't say." And so Harris is not answering the question seemed a bit peculiar since her statements cannot be used to charge her with any crime. She's been granted immunity again. However, Harris reportedly refused to answer. Let's see here. So in short, it seems as if Kelsey is afraid of Tori. DA had a recording of the previous interview with Kelsey in which she talked about Tori threatening to shoot her, and she asked if she could use it to try and refresh Kelsey's memory on the witness stand, but Kelsey's answer didn't legally allow for the recording to be played. So then in January, Tori's attorney entered a plea of not guilty to the charges of one count of felony assault. Tori tweets from jail. He's not guilty. He's been forbidden from ever mentioning Megan directly or indirectly, saying that previous tweets seem to be sending a clear message to Megan, which was against court orders, a la Donald Trump. Let's see. And so he's been found guilty of 3 charges, and he could face deportation, and he's facing 10 years in jail. There is some cute stuff. He had 70 people write him letters of defense or personal recommendations. I forget what they call it, but it's like character references. That's what they call it, Theo. Character references. 70 people. Iggy Azalea, who I thought was the comedian, but apparently is a rapper from Australia. Okay. Wrote a letter where Iggy talked about how great her career was and how many awards she's received. And that seemed to be the point of that letter.
That's funny.
And then another one, Tori's had a hair transplant, and the doctor who performed the hair transplant wrote a letter saying that Tori was a hero to bald men across America. That is what gets reported, and the doctor did say that. However,
oh my God,
the point of the letter was that Tori spends a lot of volunteer time working on issues around affordable care to help people who are losing their hair find affordable ways to, I don't know, get hair transplants.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Okay.
like, okay, haha, funny, but then also, why he's not a total dick, but whatever. Although Megan did not attend the hearing, the DA read a written statement from her describing the pain that she'd experienced. Since I was viciously shot by the defendant, I have not experienced a single day of peace. Slowly but surely, I am coming back, but I will never be the same. She also said she simply could not bring herself to be in a room with Tori again. Yeah, and so that's all the details around what happened.
Wow.
And the reason I went to details was, as a white person, I have no point in talking about black women being the perfect crime victims or misogynor, right? Or sexism within hip hop. Like, nobody needs to hear that from me. There's plenty of content creators out there who have insightful things to say. So,
Would you recommend any of the podcasts that you listen to?
thank you. Yes, and there's one I would not recommend, and I'm going to mention them both. So
Okay.
the one that I do highly recommend, I just closed my notes. Ha 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 ha.
We'll wait for
Watch
you.
me delay. Oh, look at that. There we go. Okay. So the one I really loved was Higher Learning with Van Lathan and Rachel Lindsay. It was very fact-based. They give their opinions about stuff. They do bring in the elements of, the history of hip-hop and how it moved from anti-drug and anti-violence into what it is what's more commonly associated with it today, right?
Right.
And then the one that I don't recommend is the Dr. Boyce breakdown. And this is the one that made me say, like, oh, I'm stepping in something I got no business ever talking about, right? And he seems like a very nice person. He has a podcast. Who doesn't these days, right?
Yeah.
And what he said was, and he started off, and I was like, oh, I'm going to enjoy this show, right? Because he started off, it is going to be about all Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez, right? But he starts off talking about things that are happening in the news, and he starts off with the Florida PragerU videos where Florida doesn't want anybody to learn about CRT, and I always forget what it stands for,
Critical race theory.
Thank you, that's it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So they basically have outlawed anything that makes white people look bad, and then they've pulled in these child cartoons that are done by something called Prager University.
Right.
And my favorite line in all of them is cartoon Christopher Columbus on a boat. He has the bluest eyes, and he is sailing on the ocean, and he's explaining what happened when he discovered America. And he's like, do you want to be a slave, or would you rather be killed? Which is worse?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And also,
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, and that is what he says. I'm not even paraphrasing. Like, he fucking says that.
God.
That's almost a verbatim quote. And then the paraphrase that I will use is, he also says, like, you can't really judge a culture by the things that it does when those things were okay in its time. Okay, that's
Bullshit.
That's great. I got some. Let's talk about Greco-Roman homosexuality, because it was quite common. It was really wonderful. I bet you, Prager, you would have some things to say about it. So hi. Anyway, so he's talking about that, and he's like, we don't need the schools to teach black children about black history. There are plenty of black scholars out online. There are plenty of podcasts. There's plenty, and we can educate ourselves. Absolutely agreed. Right? Totally. And and he was, he said a couple of things like, this is not anti-white, it's pro-black. Yes, absolutely. I absolutely get all of that. So it's not important what's done in Florida. And it's there I would disagree with the good doctor, and I would say, well, but other children who aren't black are also receiving this inferior education and being fed lies, which they will grow up and believe, and that could impact somebody's hiring decision later. So we should care about it. But I take your point that white people don't need to be educating black people about history, right? Totally, right?
Right.
Then he went on to sell his economic plan, and I was just like, I'm out. No. Oh, and then the other thing too, this is almost a direct quote. His program is for the educated blacks. Hi, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's not. So,
Questionable.
so there was just a lot out there that it was like not landmines. I just don't know enough about it to really talk about it, and shouldn't even have said what I said about what I just said now, but I did. Got to say something. So
Yeah, I hear you.
that is everything. What have we got for our apology?
So there was no apology. So he in fact said, I didn't do it, and no matter what people try to say I said, I'm innocent, and I'll always say I'm innocent. So he gets a 0 for his apology because there wasn't one.
Totally agree. It is covering your ass at the last minute.
Yeah.
I heard the video recording. No, I heard the audio recording from jail. Your own voice. You sounded regretful. You weren't sorry that she got shot at in general. You were sorry for your actions. You don't say what you did, but you do say that you're sorry. You are calling from a jail. You're sober enough now to know that the call is being recorded. So of course you're not going to confess, right?
Yeah.
And if you didn't do it, then did Megan shoot herself? Did Kelsey shoot her? Did the security guy shoot her? Did the driver shoot her?
Right, the bodyguard. Yeah.
Who shot her?
Who shot her? Tori?
Yeah. So, absolutely agree. I'm even going to go, this will be historic for us. Negative.
Okay.
I'm going to go negative, below 0, right?
All the apologies we've had, and this is the first one to go negative.
Yes, a negative 0.5. Because I don't know if you can go more negative than that. Because I think something happens with negative numbers where they flip to positive after a while.
I don't think so.
If you subtract like -1 from -1, you get like.
If you multiply negative and negative, it becomes
That's
positive,
impossible.
right?
That's not a thing. How can you fucking do that? That's not true. I don't understand math.
I think that's what happens. Anyway, I don't know. I'm not good at math, so I'm not going to.
Well, you're good enough.
Further.
I'm sure you're right that it's like if you multiply. Oh, yeah, right.
I can't say. I don't know. I don't remember.
Well, Juliet, in this recorded audio interview with the police, you did say that you did know what -5 times -5 was.
So, all right, we give it a negative 0.25. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how those negative numbers work. So do we have a who's sorry now or an apologies expected this week, Theo?
Yes, I have an apology expected, and it may have been issued already.
Okay.
And it's from top mountaineer Kristen Harila,
Oh, yeah.
who defends walking past a dying Sherpa in the pursuit of a record to get to the top of K2 in faster time than anyone else ever got to the top of that mountain. And
I thought it was a Portuguese guy, not a Sherpa.
this article that I'm looking at says a Sherpa. And
Sherpa? Okay.
I think he's... Well, so here's... I haven't really dived into this, right? Mm-hmm. I've seen a clip of the video. It does look like 12 people have walked over a guy who's laying on the ground, right?
Yeah.
I did hear something in a podcast where Kristen, the mountain climber, says, well, someone in her group, I don't know that it was her, says that the guy was up there without any safety equipment, didn't have an oxygen tank, was not dressed appropriately, and his jacket had opened up and his bare skin was in the snow. So basically he was a goner at that stage anyway, and that they did everything they could for him, but there wasn't anything further they could do. And at the same time, I've got to say, I'm real fucking sorry. I love prizes. If I was at the top of a mountain and I saw a dying person, you know what I would do? I would go down the fucking mountain and get help, right? Even if I knew that person was going to be dead by the time I got down to the bottom, even if I couldn't drag that person, even if I would end up dragging a corpse, I don't know how you save the person, right?
Right.
I don't. Can I say I don't again? Because I don't. But I do know this. Just decent humanity would say, this record can wait. I don't need to be at the top, right? And now her win is tainted by, God, you're horrible. Right. And all of those people with you are horrible people.
All of those people, too. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it really is terrible.
They're saying, it doesn't look the way it does.
I know it happens all the time on, like, Everest and K2 and all those other mountains, but I still think it's terrible, and I think they should have tried to do something.
Well, I know people die all the time. And I'm not going to say anything like, duh, of course you're going to fucking die because it's a snow-covered mountain that's super tall. Duh. Can't believe I just said duh twice. But anyway, I'll just, all the things. It's what the fuck. It's awful.
Okay.
And
I don't think there has been an apology yet.
There's an explanation, right? And it's not what it seems. It looks that way.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way.
But that's not what happened.
What it seems. Right. I'm with you.
So what about you? Apology expected. Who's sorry now?
Apology expected. So CBS's series Big Brother has kicked a contestant off the show for using a racial slur. Luke Valentine used the N-word in a conversation with the only black man in the house. He actually did apologize, but the apology that I'm expecting is from CBS for still having Big Brother on the air.
Oh.
I can't believe that show is still on.
How can anybody watch that shit?
I don't know. It's the worst. It's just the worst. I watched the first season or something, and it's so bad. So bad.
It was bad then when it was new, and it was such a like, oh, how weird. They all live in the house together. I wonder what's going to happen. Yeah, I did watch the first season a little bit, but also not really because reality TV just wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
And happily, it still is not.
Do you watch any reality TV now?
Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and that's the only one.
Oh, really?
And even then...
I can't believe that one is still on. I think of it.
It can never go off the air.
It does seem to be very popular. Yeah.
And rightfully so. My God, the things that happen.
Sure. I'm sorry I'm missing out.
You don't know. I used to scoff at all those housewife shows, and I still hate all of them except for the Beverly Hills one. And then
I used to watch the Beverly Hills one and the Orange County one.
When did you stop watching the Beverly Hills one? What was going on in the show?
What was going on in the show? This was when Brandy, is she Brandy Beverly Hills or is Brandy Orange County?
Beverly Hills.
She had just come back or something. I think she had been away for a while, and all I remember is like I had stopped watching it for a while, and I came back. Maybe it was I was the one who came back. I came back and I turned on the show, and she was completely unrecognizable. She looked so different. I think it was between like the first year that she was on, the second year that she was on. She obviously had some work done, and she just looked completely different to me anyway. Because I thought that she was so pretty in the first year
she was very pretty.
She was stunning, and when I saw her again, she looked like a completely different person. So that's all I remember, though.
That's obviously the most tragic part of the show.
People were getting divorced. I don't know. Some shit was going on, but I don't know. I'm sure a lot has changed now. Probably the kids that they had are all grown up and all kinds of stuff.
Did you see the episode about the psychic who had the housewives over to her house for dinner?
I think so.
Yeah, so there was a show on TV called Medium, and it was about a woman who was psychic, and she would have dreams of like people getting murdered and wake up and then go and investigate the next day, right? Like, the woman was murdered on this jogging trail. I'll jog down the trail. Oh, look, there's the murderer. Let me follow him and catch him. And she does, right? And so like I watched that show. There wasn't a lot on TV. But I used to really love it. And then whatever, my friend Kristen was visiting, and she was like, I want to watch my housewife show, Theo, and I know you hate that stuff, but come watch it with me, and I'll show you why I love it. And I was like, open the vodka, let's have Bloody Marys. I'll do that, right? So that's what we did. And then that episode was the first one I saw, which was the actual woman. So the Medium television show was based on, air quotes around, a real psychic, but a real psychic, right? Who works with the police department. And I was hypnotized. Couldn't believe it. So much bad behavior around this dinner table. And
I must not have seen it.
Oh, and the psychic says something like, because all the women are being bitchy to her, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and the psychic says something to Kyle like, shame about your husband having that affair. You know, you're going to be getting divorced in the future. I see it.
Wow.
Oh, I'm there. That's the show Medium's based on, and that woman knows what she's talking about and what's going to happen. And now I haven't watched it. I went a couple years without watching it because after Brandy left, I was like, meh. But
Did they ever get what's her name into rehab?
I can tell you that I'm going to say the Kyle sisters, and that's not it. Whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, the Richardson sisters, right?
Yeah.
Kyle is the whole reason the show is on the air. I know she's executive producer, blah, blah, blah.
Is she?
Kim is like in and out of rehab.
Oh, that's so sad.
I'm not sure what's going on there, but she, every now and then, her name will be mentioned on the show, or she'll show up for like 30 seconds.
I see.
At a group function at a party, right?
Yeah.
And everyone will be like, Kim! And then the camera will move real quick. And so I think...
Well, it's good that she's not on the show anymore. I don't think it did her any favors or did her any good.
Yeah, but
to be on the
income.
show,
I mean, I don't know where money's coming from. And it feels/seems like Kyle is supporting her sister. And good for Kyle if she does. Am I a Kyle fan? I'm not a Kyle hater. I mean, all the women on the show display horrible
They're all
behavior.
terrible people. So she's no worse than the rest of them.
Oh my gosh. Yes. So apology. Who's sorry now?
Right,
Theo, because he watches Beverly Hills Housewives and he knows better. He knows better.
Well, I think that's it for this week.
That is it.
Yeah. So that I got nothing more. So thanks everyone for listening. Stay cool, cucumbers, and don't trip potato chips.
I've tried not to have the last word, so bye.
Thank you for listening to Apologies Accepted, the podcast.
You can find links to the articles and the sources in the show notes.
To submit an apology or find out more, visit us at apologiesaccepted.net, where you can also find our merchandise.
We're on Twitter at Apologies Accepted.
And on Instagram at apologies.accepted.
You can support our important work at Patreon/Apologies Accepted.
And fuck Facebook.
Bye.
Bye.